We're at 401 North Market Street, and Kevin came in to visit me today from Frederick Auto Body. You are literally on the other side of 4th Street, though, right down the road.
I am. We could walk there if you'd like.
We could walk there on a warmer day. I would be happy
exactly.
to.
We'll do it in the summer.
That's right. That's right. Frederick Auto Body, you said you established in 2005.
Yeah, right about.
But you took a name, you wanted a name for the business, and one was available of something that had been here for a long, long time.
Yes. Frederick Auto Body was around. I have a lot of old timers come in. You fixed my car back in. I'm thinking to myself, it's not really us.
Yeah.
But it's an old, it's an old name.
Yeah.
It's been around for a long time.
Right.
But we've been Frederick Auto Body since about 2004.
Now, have you been in the same location, 4th Street, this whole time?
We have.
Okay.
We have.
When I remember, because I've been there, you guys are bursting at the seams.
Yes.
Because you're so busy, because you're so good at doing the work.
Yes.
It's like Tetris to get cars in and out.
It
Guys are very good at that.
Oh, there's times where we're just like, where are we going to put these cars?
Yeah.
You know where to put them.
You need to go up.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
I
mean, the lot is okay size, but not nearly big enough for what we have. We actually rented a auxiliary lot to put more cars in the last year or two because we couldn't do it anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have another spot around the corner.
Okay, well, that's a smart solution, I guess, just to make because sometimes with body work it takes some time to get the parts in, to do the stuff you need to do, and all of that. So.
And sometimes a car gets towed in from either customer insurance company. We take one look at it. We know it's a total. We know we're not going to fix it. The airbags are blown and whatever, and those can sit for weeks.
Before somebody comes in.
Yeah, before it gets done, before they get their tags, before it gets totaled. So we take that to the other lot.
Yeah. That's a good thing to take up space over there.
Especially if it's a non-drivable. If it's all popped and the suspensions, you get a lot of those.
Yeah. So how did you get into auto body? Where did that come from?
Well, I've always been a car guy growing up. I've always had older cars. I've got a bunch of classic cars, and that's what sort of fueled it. I had another completely unrelated business, and I've always wanted to get in the body shop business, and I've always loved Frederick. So for me, it was an easy decision. I mean, I live down in northern Montgomery County, but I didn't want to go into business there. I wanted to be here because you can build a more of a community business here. There's Montgomery County is no community.
Yeah.
Gaithersburg, Germantown, all those places, they're great.
Yeah.
But you're not going to stand out. You're not going to be able to, it'll never happen.
Yeah.
So this opportunity came up, and it's taken us years to build it, but slowly but surely by just doing great work and being part of the community, it's worked out.
Yeah, and I think there's no place like Frederick. I've never experienced anything like it. I've lived in some different places, and you're right. Like the community, not only the support you give to the community, but the community will pay it back tenfold.
Absolutely.
And do that. So when somebody comes to you, it's obviously through a bunch of different things. Something is dinged their paint, or they've been in an accident, or something like that, and then they find you somehow and bring their car to you, and then you guys do what you do best.
That's exactly right. I've got funny stories of all sorts of things. mostly it's just an accident. I got hit in a parking lot, I got rear-ended. That's the majority of it. Every now and then we get a pretty funny one. We just had one. We had one where a guy came around a corner and a horse sat in his hood of a car. On a brand new Tahoe, and it's just the whole thing squished in.
My God!
Yeah, he couldn't
Can you
believe
imagine?
it. Yeah, we have deer hits and all that stuff, but this was a horse, and we've had some other funny ones. But most of the time it's a collision of some sort or something, and no job's too big or too small.
Yeah,
we'll take from the littlest scratch and door ding to something that's a train wreck. We'll do either one.
Do any of the products that we see on social media, do they really work? Like the removing the scratch, matching the paint, those pens they sell, any of those? No. Okay.
No.
Good to know.
And the other thing is we do get a call every now and then and say, hey, can you touch this up? And that's old school thinking. What's happened, without getting too technical, is now we have what's called water base. So it used to be the paint, you just would spray the paint on and that was it. Now you have to spray down, it's in layers. First you put the color, then you put the clear down, so it makes it impossible to actually touch something up at a body shop.
Okay.
So, and they look like crap anyway when you do it. You can always still see it, but none of those products work really. They just don't.
At
They just
what
don't.
point, though, if your car is scratched? Because actually, it's funny. I was shopping for a car for my son's girlfriend, and we were looking at some used vehicles, and they had a bunch of the scratches in where the door handle is, where people like might
Yeah.
have rings or keys,
Yes.
and really, really scratched up. And not that that would have affected the car, and it wasn't why we didn't buy it. But is there an easy way to fix that? Or because you have to remove a bunch of stuff, right? You got to
do.
remove the handles and take
Yep.
care of all that. So that's a decent job then.
It is. The rule of thumb is if there's a scratch or a scrape, if you take your fingernail and you go up and down, if you hear it go click, 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 that's when it needs paint. If
Okay.
it doesn't click, 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 and in the cases of that door handle, that can usually be buffed out with some compounds and stuff.
Okay.
So we have people come in, they say, oh, my car is scratched, and we go like this, and we take a little compound, and it goes away. And then we have other people who say, I've got a teeny scratch, and the whole side of their car is destroyed. So we go both
Yes,
ways.
you
We're
do.
like, you call that a scratch?
Yes,
So
yes,
it does.
you
But
do.
that's the trick. If you take your fingernail
Yeah.
and you go click,
Okay.
click, click, and even then, sometimes they can be buffed out.
Okay.
We always try to do it as, we treat it like it's our car. I don't want to paint the whole side of a car with something that could buff out.
Right, right.
And
How about paint matching? Like, how hard is it now? Now there's so many. It used to be, I'm sure even when you started, there was white, black, red, blue. Now you got these colors like my future daughter-in-law bought was ceramic.
Yeah.
And the girl was like, we got to put a color for MVA. They don't see ceramic. So are we closer to white? Are we closer to gray? Or
Yep.
what is it? How hard is it now, part of your job?
So
to
it's
match?
funny. It's funny you say that. So when I got started, it was like that. Every car is a paint code, but there's variances, depending on when it was, what factory, and all stuff. We a couple of years ago, we bought a system. It's a color spectrometer camera, and essentially, it'll analyze the paint like it's incredible. Analyze the paint. It takes a bunch of different picture angles, and it will tell you the perfect match and the perfect formula.
Wow.
So our color match now is on point. It can't always be perfect. Just sometimes there's some fading and some other stuff, but we have some tricks to alleviate that. But color match for us is, we used to have all the time where they come out of the paint. This is years ago, and I take it out. I'm like, I don't know about that. That looks like an Easter egg. It's different, but that never happens anymore with this system. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy to have it. It's made a huge difference in quality for people.
Well, that's where you use technology for good. And
Yeah.
I would imagine in your years now here, technology has changed. And
Definitely.
Is it making your jobs easier, make the jobs faster, or is it still the same at just utilizing other things?
It's a little of each.
Yeah.
Some of it has been great, the technology, especially with some of the tools we have and stuff. And some of the stuff is, I think what's changed the most in my time is all the safety equipment and the cameras and the computers and the
Right.
airbag systems, and they've got to be right.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, it's a fairly minor collision, and then it turns out that, the main camera sensor and the braking system needs to be recalibrated and replaced, and that could be thousands of dollars,
Right.
$1,500, even if it just needs to be recalibrated. Because there's liability issues there, we bring a third party in that's certified in every manufacturer.
Okay.
Because with airbags and that, you don't need somebody. We need to fix a bumper,
Yeah.
and then the automatic braking system doesn't work.
Right.
We can't take that chance.
Yeah,
So we bring
absolutely.
someone in, and he's fabulous.
Yeah.
And so we have that. But yeah, that would be the thing. I think it's the technology.
Yeah.
That's
Any
really changed.
maker model, you guys?
Oh yeah, any maker model.
Okay.
Any maker
Even
model.
electric vehicles
Oh yeah,
and all of that.
EVs,
Okay.
all that stuff. Tesla gets a little tricky. Teslas we can do if it's minor. Tesla's the only one that, unless you're a Tesla certified shop, they won't sell you structural parts.
Okay.
So they'll sell you bumpers and hoods and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we do those from time to
Gotcha.
time. Tesla's the only one that's a little tricky. There's not a ton of them up here.
Yeah.
But we get them every now and then. We do, one,
Yeah.
two a month.
Yeah.
But every now and then we have to turn it away. We're like, because there's so many electronics on there, and that's the other thing, is our guy can't
Yeah.
get the Tesla stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's beeping and booping, you
Yeah,
got to take it
gotta-
to Tesla, and you're not going to see the car for 2 months.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so there you go.
Exactly. How can Frederick support you? Because you've been so great about supporting the Frederick community.
I mean, I would just say, like we had discussed before, pretty much all the bigger shops have been bought. They're no longer locally owned. I used to know the owners. They were local guys. They took care of their customers. They cared. Pretty much any big shop in town is now owned by a big company, been bought, even if they didn't change their name. A couple that kept their name, but those owners aren't there anymore.
Right.
And people know it. We've had people come and they say, oh, I took my car to so-and-so and they did such a great job. I took it this time, it was terrible.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I said, because this big national company owns it now. And they only really care, most of the time, they only care about insurance companies because that's the model for these big national companies.
Yeah.
We don't get in bed with insurance companies. The big ones, we have some smaller ones just for convenience purposes. But we're not a show for any insurance company.
Yeah.
You know, we'd rather fight them and make sure that the customer gets a proper repair. We don't really so much care about the insurance companies.
Yeah.
And we've had people that, you know, they go into these other shops and they're like, wow, they were like jerks to me. I'm like, yeah, because you were paying out of pocket and they've got, Geico's going to send them 30 cars this week. You think they care about you? They don't.
Yeah.
So
that's
I would
so
say
interesting
that's it.
to know for sure.
Always
We
the best way.
appreciate you walking
Oh,
down
no.
the street to see us, and we'll walk up next time to see you.
Absolutely.
This is Frederick Auto Body. This is Kevin, the owner. And if you have any work that you need done, big or small, take it by. They'll take care of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
for watching.